Hi everybody and welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. So this week I want to talk a little bit about pricing. This comes up all the time, whether it's with a new business or an existing business. Am I charging enough? I want to be earning more money. Am I charging too much? Am I covering my costs? Is this valuable to me as a business? And the list goes on. There are a lot of factors that contribute to setting the right price. And I hear a lot now around know your worth, charge what you think you're worth, charge what you want to earn. And whilst these are nice and empowering and they do form part of it, they are only part of the mechanism that we use in terms of creating price. If you were to do that on its own, you may no longer be competitive in your marketplace. You may not be hitting the right types of clients. So you need to factor in a little bit more than just knowing your worth. So what do we need to think about when we're looking at pricing? We need to understand our market. And by market, we're looking at two key areas. We're looking at the product and service market. So what it is that we're actually delivering in. What's the going rate? What's the normal rates of pay? What are people prepared to pay for those products and services? And then we're also looking at our target audience. These are the people that we have decided that we want to work with. We're attracting them through our marketing and our branding and everything else. We have designed them as our ideal client. What do they expect to pay? What sort of money do they have available to do that? How much money do they generally invest in the product or service that you provide? This will help start to build up where your pricing needs to be. Now, quite often markets have a range of pricing. There's very rarely just one price. There's a bottom end, a high end, and a middle ground. So you need to decide where you want to pitch yourself along that scale, but you need to be around that scale. If you are in a market where people are not prepared to pay more than £10 for what it is that you sell, and you start going in £100 because you're saying to yourself, I'm worth £100, that's what I want to be earning, you're not going to get any business. So it doesn't help you to inflate your pricing. What you can do is look at your market and say, okay, so maybe these people are not my ideal client. What does my ideal client look like? Because they may be prepared to pay £100 for what it is that I do. So if you're not earning the money that you want to earn, look at your market, look at how you could shift things. Another way of eking out more money is looking at your costs. How do you make what you're charging work better for you? So if you can't maneuver your pricing that much, then look at how you work as a business to make that more valuable to you. So reduce costs where you can, look at efficiencies. If what you deliver is very time-based, how could you do it quicker? What would be a more effective way of delivering it that would save you time? Because if you sell a service that's based on time, like coaching for example, there are only so many chargeable or billable hours in a month. So how do I eke the most out of those? How do I gain the most from those so that I can afford to pay my rent and my bills? So cost is definitely one way, reshifting your market is another. Another way of looking at your pricing is around the value that you give. If you give more value and your item is packed full of value more so than anyone else's, then you should feel free to charge appropriately for that. If it isn't, then that's something to think about. If you want to earn more money and you want to put your price up, would you need to do something else to enable that to happen? Do you need to look at the value adds? Do you need to think about how you deliver the service so that it is therefore compatible with the rate that you're charging? Remember, pricing is very much about perceived value. I have to feel like I'm getting the worth out of the price that I'm paying. So it's not so much the price as in the value that I receive. So that's another area to think about. Being realistic about how long stuff takes, again, is another important factor. I see a lot of people underpricing because they think they can do jobs quicker than they can. And then suddenly they're realizing that actually, well, I'm only earning X amount of money, but I'm working all the time. Yeah, but because you're not doing it the right way, you could maintain your price by looking at efficiencies, as we've said before, or it could be that's not the right product or service. Maybe the offering that you have, i.e. the number of services or products you supply, could be streamlined so that you can focus more time and energy on delivering those products that have the best pricing mechanism and the best value to you as a business owner. So yes, be aware of what you're worth, be aware of your time and the value that you're putting in, be aware of what it is that you want to earn, but also be aware of your actual marketplace. What is the going rate? It can be really hard to get competitor information. I know when I started out, the corporate side, the consultancy work was quite easy for me to price because I had been employing consultants for a number of years, so I knew what the going rates were. However, on the small business coaching side, 6 years ago, I wasn't as aware of what that pricing mechanism should be. And I found it very difficult to determine what my competitors were charging in this field. What is the going rate? What do people expect to have to pay? What are people prepared to pay? So I had to do quite a bit of research, and it was difficult, I'm not going to lie. And you start off with something and you see how you go. And initially I was quite high end in terms of my pricing, and then I realized that that wasn't necessarily the right market for me, it wasn't the right fit. So I had to really think about who my ideal clients are, what do they look like, do they see what I do as being essential? If not, can I shift them to get them to see it as being essential? And therefore, what are they prepared to pay? What is the value or the impact that I can give to their business that warrants the price that I'm going to charge? So overall, it is a combination of things, and I think sometimes if you're doing something that's relatively new or you're offering something that's a little bit different, you have to pick what is the closest things to it, and it's a little bit like that. Get it priced, get it out there. If it's not selling, then you need to think about why it's not selling. Is the proposition not right? Is there not the right amount of value in it? Is the pricing not right? And then tweak what you need to tweak until you get to a point where you're happy. I'm very happy now with where my pricing is. I know my pricing is right. I know it's competitive. I know it's right for the type of business that I want to work with, and I know it is affordable to them. Not everyone will see it as being affordable, but they are not necessarily my clients. So I'm very clear about who my clients are, and that can really help with getting the right price. If you want to be doubling your income and you want to be really charging the high end, then it's your market that needs to change. Yeah, put the focus in on where you are selling your products and services. If you want to make yourself the high end of whatever it is that you do, that's fine. Just make sure you're selling it to those people. Don't try and sell it to people that clearly can't afford you. That's a waste of your time and energy. Okay, so that's it. So pricing is a minefield. It can be difficult to get it right at the beginning. Most businesses charge far too less when they start, under this illusion that it's about getting recommendations and experience. And whilst that's all valuable, remember, people do not value something that is free. I have learned that the hard way, and I think a lot of us as business owners have. If you give stuff away because you want a recommendation or you want experience, then you need to recognize that it may not be as valuable to that person as it is to you. So don't go in too low end. Be very clear about your worth, but also about what is realistic in your marketplace. Thank you.